All right, was just going to show one little part of this Big Bang Theory episode here, but then I actually watched it and there's a few more things. But I mean, my girlfriend loves this show, so it was on, and he said something that stuck out to me later on in this episode. But I looked it up. It's the 103rd episode. So, like I said, 103 is the 27th prime. Talked about 27 a whole bunch of times. 103. 27 here. 103, 27th prime. So, like I said, this is a 27 year. Um, anyway, basically the whole episode is Sheldon has to take a vacation. His job's making him, so he doesn't know what to do and he's complaining or whatever. But right here he mentions Richard Feynman, and then he explains that to Howard that he is the worked on the Manhattan Project or whatever. And Howard's like, yeah, duh, everybody knows that. But let's check out Richard Feynman. And I'll play the clip after I show you this here in a second. Well, just first thing I notice, he was born on May 11th, which is 5/11, 55. Then he died on the last day of Lupercalia in 1988. So I guess just kind of interesting that they mentioned a guy who died in 1988 who worked on the Manhattan Project. And I talked about before about how in the Manhattan Project, the plutonium was actually called 49. And so anyway, I was just kind of reading a tiny bit about it here. The project was under the direction of Major General Leslie Groves. So I clicked on him. And he died age 73, of course. That's Sheldon's favorite number. And whatever, but and it will be 45 years ago. And he was also born on August 17th. And if you convert from Julian to Gregorian, it's actually August 4th as well, which is Obama's birthday. Kind of interesting. And then the other guy they mentioned here at the very top, who was the director, let's click on him, Robert Oppenheimer or whatever, born on 4/22, or so that could be 88. Also, 4/22 is the 112th day of the year, so 11/2/22, and he died on the 49th day of the year in 1967. I mean, all significant things. And he was 62 years old. I mean, just craziness. So another thing I found interesting, and like plutonium is basically like the gas or the fuel for the time machine in Back to the Future. But look what it's made of, or look how it's made. It says only small amounts of plutonium exist in nature, so they have to make it. And the way they make it is uranium-238 is transmuted into uranium-239, which rapidly decays first into Neptunium-239 and then into plutonium-239. So look at all these 239s. That's a very interesting number that I've talked about before, because 239 is the 52nd prime number. It's also July 4th this year will be the 239th year of the United States. 1952 is 1776 plus 88 plus 88. There's all kinds of stuff with 239. And then now, and I've talked about 49 a ton, and now all of a sudden I'm seeing plutonium is 49, and it's actually made with a bunch of stuff with 239 to make it. So I just thought that was interesting. Gonna play the clip now. Hopefully it will work.
Sheldon, everybody takes vacations.
One time, they tried to make Richard Feynman take a vacation, but he chose instead to expand his mind and learn something new. He went to work in his friend's biology lab. Richard Feynman was a famous American physicist, part of the Manhattan Project.
Everyone in the world of science knows who Richard Feynman was.
So then right here, and this is, I'm just proving a point that this is how they hide things in movies and TV shows and whatnot, and most people will never catch on. And I understand that Sheldon is obsessed with the number 73, and he even explains it, with the prime numbers and whatnot. 73 and 37 are mirrors, and they're the 12th and the 21st prime numbers, which are also mirrors. And he says a bunch of other stuff about it, and he always wears that shirt with the number 73. I understand that. But then they hide other things in the show, and most people never pick up on it. But right here, his girlfriend is making him count something on these slides or whatever. But what's interesting is that when he stops counting, he stops at 367. And if you go to the prime numbers and you find 367, It is the 73rd prime number. So they just hide a 73 in the TV show. And I mean, they had to do that on purpose, so just pointing it out. I'm going to play the clip here.
I'm sure it was.
I intend to write that soap company a strongly worded letter.
Yeah, good for you. Now start counting.
You know what this place needs? A suggestion box. 366, 367.
How's it going?
How's counting going? When I was in kindergarten, I recited pi to 1,000 places for the school talent show. I think I got this.
Great.
Oh, nuts.
Also, last thing I want to point out is they use, or the atomic bomb, the first one was dropped on Hiroshima on August 6th, 1945. So 1945 for one, so we got their 45. And let's check out August 6th. And August 6th, I've talked about this, the 218th day of the year. And 218, which is February 18th, is the 49th day of the year. And then the other bomb was on August 9th, 1945. So 45 again, and August 9th. August 9th is the 221st day of the year. That is a mirror of 122, which I've been talking about a lot with San Francisco adds up to 122, Pope Francis, all kinds of things. So interesting that it was on these days. Today is even the 122nd day of the year. So I guess kind of weird, but and another interesting thing about the number 2, so like I said, May is the 122nd day of the year, and something big did happen. The royal baby was born. Like, wow. Didn't even think about it, didn't even put it together until just now. So whatever, I'm just gonna leave this video like that, and anyway, I guess have a good night or day.